In order to test for whether or not invoices have been added together to try to get a larger purchase of something but avoid an approval limit, what we could do is we can summarize invoices between an approval limit, let's say $10,000, and let's say 5% below that limit, or whatever percentage you want to put in. So, 5% below the $10,000 limit, or $500, so between $9,500 and 9,999, 0.99 would be the items that would be extracted and put into the file called under approval limit. And then we're going to summarize those invoices by vendor number to the under approval limit file, at which point we could filter that file and look for items that are over, let's say, 5 or 2 or 3. I mean, it depends how many you care to look at, but in essence, if it was $9,999, if there were 2 of them, a person was trying to buy something maybe larger than $20,000 or close to it, or they, in some cases, I've seen as high as 20 that have been added together. And actually, when you look at the invoices that came from the vendor, the actual invoice would have on it 1 of 20, 2 of 20, 3 of 20, to add up to the 20 of 20. And as we go back into ACL, we can look at the ven mult script. And again, like normal, we'll take a look here, but this dialog will actually open up the paid invoice file, and then we'll have other dialogues to ask us other questions. Let's look at this one. This will be the fields that are utilized in the extraction. And the second one here should be setting the limits. So we'll be setting not only what is the approval limit, but what is the variation percentage. Do you want it to be 5%, 10%, etc. And what the script is going to do is it's going to first calculate a range, and that range will be based upon the approval and the limit above. So let's take a look at this. So what this limit is doing is it's first using the include statement or function to remove any type of characters other than a number, and then creating a value with 2 decimal places. And that is then divided by 100 to create a percentage limit in this case. So that then will be used down below in the range, where it's going to take the approval, which is calculated very similarly, and it's going to minus out that limit, let's say 5%, times the approval. So in this case, it'll end up being about 90, I think it's 9,500 would be if we put 10,000 in as the actual limit. So in the extract statement below, which is the main one, we're just then going to be extracting if the invoice amount is greater than that range and less than the approval limit, which you can see right there. So as we look at the rest of the script, there really isn't much else here. So why don't we run this script just so we can get a sense of how it works. And we'll continue on here. We're going to select the paid invoice file, and then we'll just select all the fields that it's asking for: vendor name, number, invoice date. Okay, and then I'll select the OK button. I will use 10,000. I think that'll work. And even though in this script we actually state it as 5, because we will be dividing this by 100 as part of the range calculation that we do. And by hitting OK, hopefully we can find a few here. Well, unfortunately, there aren't any that have multiples in that range, which is a good thing. And what this did was it not only extracted, but then summarized on vendor number, accumulating the invoice amount for that particular vendor. And that's what you see there as the actual count. If we had more than one, that would be something of a concern and something to look into. And like I said, if you find 21, you definitely want to take a look at that as well.